Okay, I'll just start. Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Tejas and I'm going to talk about creative coding in Devanagari Typography. But before that, let me just give you some background about myself. So I studied communication design from IIT Andhra Pradesh. And yeah, so when I was in college, I was interested in letter forms and especially working with Marathi slangs, poems, and stuff like that, calligraphing them. Later, I joined 8Type, so today I work at 8Type as a Devanagari type designer. And when I was in in the studio while some discussions, I got introduced to creative coding. And I started exploring creative coding, and I found it very cool. So in the beginning stage, I just copied other people's work, and slowly I started using Devanagari, and I found it I was amazed with the stuff because I had never seen Devanagari like that. So I thought I should continue my exploration, and this presentation is all about my explorations with creative coding and Devanagari typography, and it has 3 sections. So first of all, what is creative coding? Creative coding is basically making artworks with code, but I think if someone doesn't know how it really works, it doesn't make sense. So let's see how it works. So there are multiple ways to do creative coding. I use P5.js. It's a JavaScript library made for creative expression, and this is how it looks. On the left-hand side, you can see code, and on right-hand side, you can see visuals. Right now, there are 2 commands. One is for creating a canvas, and another is creating a background of 0 as in black color. But now let's add some text. So to add text, I have to add multiple commands, things like text size, alignment, font size, and stuff like that. And we do this generally in our softwares also. Over here, I have to write them as a command. Now, what if I want a whole column of text, and do I need to repeat this command again and again? So no, so in coding we have 4 loops and stuff like that, and I can simply just use a loop and put things into the expression, and I get my things. But this is still static, and I don't really have fun with static. I want this to move, and I can just add something called a sine wave in the exposition, and I get things this is a oscillating wave, and I get things moving. You can see in the exposition. But okay, we are doing this in the position. What if we put this into the text size, and I get this? So it's a very flexible medium. You can just play with the parameters and have fun. But now I want more colors. This is okay, black and white. I can just put the same wave into fill, and I get nice RGB. So yeah, this is how basically creative coding works. What I wanted to show is that how the workflow is, how is the relationship between code and visual. They are almost reflections of each other. And how is it's a very flexible medium. Somehow people think that coding is very hard and fast, but it's not. It's almost like sketching with the code. Okay, now let's come to explorations and stuff that I did. My explorations are also divided into 3 parts. The first one is the positions and size, and basically similar things that we just saw. And I think now you can imagine how this is made. Wave into exposition, wave into size, basic things. Same things, little bit of color I can add. I'm playing with the colors, and it's just that I'm adding a few things, getting nice gradients. One feature of a code is that I can work with quantity of elements. So on the left hand side, you see there are almost 2000 text boxes there. On right hand side, there are 200 text boxes, and I can work with them because I'm controlling them as a code, not manually. Doing this manually is really hard. So it's a really nice feature of code, and I can also simple things, repetition, rotation, and stuff like that. So this is what we can do with basic parameters. But till now, I have not really shown anything. That all this work till now is a compositional in nature. Now, what if we get into the text, the outline of text? So we do that by using something called as text to point. It's a function of P5.js, and it works like this. So let's say I have a font. I hit text to point, so I get into the font, and I get this circles or points position on the outline of that letters, and I can draw anything on that. In this case, I'm drawing circles, and because I'm drawing this through code, these are programmable. So I can make them move and animate them and stuff like that. the context changes. I'm doing things into the skeleton of the text. So I'm doing flesh variations, and by using that I can just do basic stuff. These are same things, basic shapes, waves, using into the context of letters. This can be slightly more complex if I add some more layers of code and make some really nice things. My personal favorite is the fourth one, in which there is a webcam, live webcam image repeating. So it gives a mirror-like effect, which I really like. Okay, so let's see how this coding helps me as a type designer and lettering person to enhance my lettering. So this is one of my lettering. When I did this, I saw this particle system by Pat Vera from the YouTube tutorial, which makes this slime mold kind of a texture. I like this, so I was like, what if I use this in my lettering and I get something like this. So basically what I want to show, that how understanding code and understanding how we can do it, it gives us some more possibilities to explore with visuals and letters and stuff like that, which is very fun, I think. Now there is an issue, so if someone might try P5JS, there is an issue with text to point, and especially with working with Devanagari. So if you write word person name, you get something like this. And the reason why this is happening is because text to point, the way it works, it enters a font file and then it accesses the outlines. But while doing that, it uses a JavaScript called opentype.js. It's a JavaScript library which does not support Devanagari features, and that's how it happens. But I'm also I just started exploring this tool very recently. So if anyone in the audience knows how to solve this, please let me know. But yeah, for now, the way I do this, I have a hack. I just, because I have access to font design softwares, I just draw the whole word in one single glyph. So if I write per, I get the whole word, and I can just work with it. But one thing I must say here is that this doesn't mean that Devanagari doesn't work with creative coding. Devanagari and most other Indian languages work fine. It's just that there are some really specific, scenarios where there is an issue. And I think in many of those cases, if we just change our mindset and do a little bit of exploration, we can find solutions. So it's not hard. Okay, so third part is interactive typography. Interactive typography, one nice example is Akshar VR. It's a multi-script typography tool I made inspired from space-time generator, and it looks like this. So you just play with sliders, and it supports 10 different scripts. And if you don't like coding, you can use this and make your animations and stuff. Have fun with it. And you can also export a GIF from this. If you want to use it, this is there, and you can also see the code on GitHub. So yeah. But my point is how introducing interactivity in a simple sketch helps me to take my sketch, make it a tool. It gives, it transforms the, it transforms it. And I think that is fascinating, because now the audience can really interact with my tool and they make their own things. I think that is beautiful. So yeah, this is nice, but interactivity is not limited to just sliders. It can go beyond that. So we can make things like this. This is basically hand tracking happening. So when I'm interacting to the text shape through my body. Stuff like this. Simple. These are very simple things, by the way. This is made with ML5.js. It's another JavaScript library which does it's a machine learning library which do this. But it's easy. It's not. It might look hard. And things like this also. Yeah, playing with the variable with hand and all that. So the reason why we can do this is because for us, audio, video, text are three separate mediums, but for a code, they all are data. And if you understand how they are structured, and if you understand how computer is understanding them, through computer you can mix and match them. So understanding how coding works gives us possibility to create responsive and transmedia design. That is very beautiful. Now let's come to the end part, insights and opinions of mine, from my exploration. So first of all, how coding is as a tool to design to visuals. So let's say I want to make this visual in Illustrator or any design software. I make a rectangle and I put my text in it, maybe give some color and all. But if I want to code this, I have to write all the instructions as I showed before. And what happens is, because I'm doing this, I get an understanding about what different parameters are involved in this, and I can play with that because it's my code, right? So I can just make it, I can enhance it. So what happens is, because I have a control over my code and I can play with my code, it allows me to go beyond the limitations of softwares. So in simple terms, understanding code gives me like ability to understand parameters, experiment with them, and I can go beyond softwares, the limitations of software. So it is very powerful that way. Also, a tool has an influence on our thinking. For example, many people over here do calligraphy. I did calligraphy. I enjoy calligraphy. And when you do calligraphy for some time, after a point you start looking at letters as a series of strokes. That knowledge really helps us to like ideate new letterings, like analyze the letterings and execute them. Similarly, when you do coding for a good amount of time, you start looking at type as a data. Because you do codes and stuff, you start like you get this ability to understand complex visuals, break them down into patterns, and recreate them through code. It's called computational thinking sometimes, and that ability helps us to use computer more efficiently. And essentially, it helps us to look at computers as a tool rather than looking at them as some alien machines who's gonna take our jobs. So that is very nice. Yeah, possibilities. So mostly when I'm gonna say possibilities, I'm gonna say possibilities of my exploration in the future mostly. So these are the things that I showed you right now, and they show some kind of possibility of what we can do with code and typography. But there are a lot of limitations in this work. One limitation is all my work is kind of based on a single word or a repetition of single word. But a typography is there are multiple things. So in my future exploration, I would like to explore long form typography. And I think it would be fun to see what new things we can do in the space of typography, like paragraphs, books, websites, and all these areas. So yeah, I think it would be fun to read a Tenali Rama or Mullah Nasruddin story in such a way. So yeah. Another is understanding data structures. So fonts, as I said, are data and they are stored in a certain way. So I would like to study data structures, how fonts are stored, and how to get into them, which is called parsing them, and manipulate them and access the information inside a font. I think so. This will help us to this will open up new possibilities into type design, which I am really interested into, and yeah, that is something that I'm looking forward to. And yeah, this is something that I am looking forward to. There are huge, coding is a vast tool, and there can be multiple things that can happen. But this is something that, yeah. At the end, I just want to say, I think coding is a interesting tool it's a tool worth exploring. It might look intimidating, especially for designers. I come from design background, but it's not that hard, and we can have fun. And yeah, so my intention of writing this paper or doing this presentation is simply that I wanted to show this tool in a more approachable manner, and I thought that some people might think that this is cool and we should try it, and there will be more people trying this in more different Indian scripts, and maybe collectively we find some new possibilities in Indian typography. And that is I'm looking forward to that. And that's all. Thank you so much for
Thank you for this. We'll keep the question answer in the end as normal. I invite quickly Nipun Pate, a type designer and